everyone! I'm Sarah.
And I'm Carm.
And we're S&C.
It's been another month and we're about to get into our book club video. So if you missed the last video, I'll try linking it in the cards up above. But October's book of the month was There's Someone Inside Your House. And this book is by Stephanie Perkins. She is the author of the Anna and the French Kiss trilogy. But it was a great read for October, very seasonally appropriate. So we're gonna get into our thoughts and feelings, our comments, our concerns, our accusations regarding this book. So just keep watching.
So if you're familiar with our channel and you've watched other book club videos, the content in this video will be of no surprise. We're going to discuss those 8 questions that we always do for every book club.
And the PDF will be linked down below.
Yes, so that you can start your own or edit it and answer your own questions. But we're definitely going to tackle those. And we're also going to reveal November's book of the month.
Yeah.
So stay tuned to the end of the video, and if you didn't finish There's Somebody Inside Your House and you don't want any spoilers, just jump to that time so that you can find out what we're reading next.
So if you don't know, this book is actually going to be converted into a Netflix movie or TV?
Yes, yeah. No, movie. So there already is a cast, so we felt like we wouldn't pick our own cast since one already exists. Yes, yeah, and I found it out and I already looked at them, and you know when that happens and you have like names, now you have faces that you put, and it's not even that like I like the faces or whatever, but it's like it's hard to change. Yeah,
you've been picturing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't seen them, so we'll try to do like a quick review of like what we think of their casting choices.
Yeah.
And since we'll have a little bit extra time in this video, we'll go into deeper our S&C playlist for There's Someone Inside Your House. So if you're not familiar, we do a 20-song playlist curated for each book that we read for the book club. And that playlist will be linked down below. It is a pretty good playlist.
It is a pretty good playlist.
You might not be into it now that it's November.
Yes,
but it's definitely one.
Passed, but like we kind of started building it like when we started reading the book in October, so
we were listening to it for a majority of October.
Yeah.
So you can always save the playlist and then revisit it next.
Or
October.
Yeah, if you have if you're a big fan of the book and you have a viewing party for the movie that comes out.
Yeah. I don't know when it's coming out, but
yeah, me neither.
So we'll try to look that up as well, but
maybe we should have a viewing party for this one.
Yeah, maybe we should.
A new addition to the book club series.
Yeah, whenever they release like a movie or
that would be fun. So the first question is, which event causes all others in the book?
There's not going to be drama about this one. I'm definitely on the same page as you for this one. I know I say that every time, but I'm certain of it this time. There's no room for... Okay, go ahead, say yours.
Okay, well, because mine, like, I couldn't pick between 2.
Yeah, me too, but I went with the latter one because I knew that that's what you would choose.
Okay, so, I'll say, like, what I was debating between.
Okay, go ahead.
I was debating between whether it was the very first murder.
Or the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, because I couldn't between the two of them.
Yeah, me too.
Because, like, the first one, the first one was so,
abrupt.
Maybe it's my own fault because I never really pay attention to the sleeve of the book. And like, maybe I'll read the sleeve of the book when I'm at the bookstore just to see if I like it. But like, we got this book a while ago.
Yeah, but that's something that we do. It's that
like we pay no attention to the book.
No, not that we don't. I pay a fair amount of attention, but I don't read the book, and then it'll be years later, and I'm like, I should probably read this book because when did it come out?
It was. The good thing is, and
I would say 2016. Okay, 2007.
But what I was gonna say is, I guess I forget about the inside cover. So I was so shocked. Like I thought Haley was the main character. I was like, okay, I'm gonna read a book about Haley when it clearly does. It says nothing about Haley on the inside sleeve.
Oh yeah. That happened to me too. Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're gonna be reading a lovely book about Haley and Brooke. I'm like, I wonder if this lady's obsessed with One Tree Hill. And then she dies at the end of that chapter. I'm like, okay, so it's clearly not gonna be about Haley.
Yeah, okay, so which one do you think is the insight? It causes all others.
So I would say it's the second one because it's the one that really puts fear in the town.
Yeah. Let me read what I wrote.
Okay.
I said, the second character to be brutally murdered is attacked at school in a similar horrific scene to the first. From there, the town knows it isn't a singular killing.
Yeah.
It's a serial killer and tensions are rising.
Exactly, yeah. So it's that one too, because then the first one was like, oh, but she had boy trouble, wasn't it? And then it was like, it was just about
It would have
her.
been a different story.
Yeah. And because it was the second, it's a slasher fic. We
Now
have a
it's
serial killer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on to the second question now.
So number 2 is, what is the book's climatic scene? How did the author build up to it? Again, no debate here.
Okay, I think the turning point is when we discover who the murderer is, and that's when it no longer becomes a murder mystery, but it because in the middle of the book you find out who the murderer is. So that can't be the climactic scene. So that's the turning point, because now it's no longer a murder mystery, but it is a pure slasher fiction where he's just going through town slaying, yes. Which brings us to the climactic scene where they're at the chase scene at the corn maze, where the Sweeney Todd production was kind of
makeshift.
Yes, yeah.
For fun,
For fun, yeah. So I think
actually, you know what? That you brought up the Sweeney Todd, it really brings the book full circle.
Yes.
Because Haley was the first victim, and she was the lead character.
And you know, from the very first chapter, I actually thought it was gonna be the teacher who was running the play, and how on the phone and how they were saying, yeah, she gets a little too excited for these things. And I was like, oh my gosh, this lady, like, I thought it was gonna be about like a teacher who went a little mental and like started actually taking it out on the student. So how they built up to it is because they were misled. Because they thought
they were misled.
They were wrong, because they thought the pattern first was people who had committed who had dark secrets, who had something to hide, who had dark secrets with her and her past in Hawaii.
And then they thought it was people who stood out.
Yeah.
And then they realized that
it was actually people who had ambitions.
To get, yeah.
So they were led to that corn maze because they remembered on the announcements earlier, like the second day, because all of this happened, that was even more, like to the readers too, it was like, it was going so fast because it only happened in like the span of like two full days of like 6 people dying. And yeah, then they realized that it was the ambitions, and so they went
and they had to rack their brains to find out who would be next.
Yeah, and they remembered from the PA system that they mentioned Rosemary had gone to an equestrian
horse championship,
and she took home she won it.
It was something for rodeo. It wasn't just riding.
And then they pieced together that it was actually people who were ready to leave the town.
Yeah.
Because with the preacher's son wanting to go on that missionary, and
Katie going to that university. This one, she was gonna get whatever kind of promotion at the rodeo.
No.
Does the book's ending resolve the plot? If it doesn't, do you think it was intentional? What else do you want to know?
I think that the book was completely resolved.
Yeah, me too. But I also said this book was resolved in a good way. Makani starts learning to forgive herself, slays her villain, gets her happily ever after. One thing I'd like to know is more about Makani's relationship with her mom and dad.
I said that too.
Including more about their family dynamic.
Yes, yeah.
That's parents seem like...
Yeah, and maybe it wouldn't have been... Because it's a very short book. It's only like... It's less
there was no room... Well,
yes.
Not that it's too long, but there was no room for it in terms of theme.
Yes, no.
The only way that it was
pure, just like...
Slasher.
Yeah, exactly. Which makes it very good.
Yeah,
I'm glad that she didn't get into all of that other stuff, because then it would have been a 400-page book about, okay, great, that many killings? Like, that's just really sad at that point.
So on to the next question. How might the story be different if it was from another character's point of view?
Okay, because, and you could have taken it like a lot of ways. Like, it could have been about like a single like parent. It depends on how...
Parent? Why?
Like, it depends on how removed from the true book you want to get.
I would say the story would be dramatically different if it were told more prominently from David's point of view. But because this book was narrated in third person, we did get glimpses of his psyche.
Yes,
for instance, like when he chopped off that
the heart. She ripped out his heart and he put it on the brochure, and he's like, see, it's funny.
Set on college.
Yes,
see, I have a sense of humor.
They just don't appreciate it.
Yeah, and it was on the college brochure.
For sure, yeah.
Or when he chopped off the preacher's son's hands and put them in a praying position on his chest. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
But I said I think it'd be very interesting to have heard it from his point of view.
The whole thing, yeah.
But it was third person, so
it was third person.
The question is kind of irrelevant. Does the story have an antagonist or villain? What traits does this character reveal about the story's hero?
So I think this is the first time with this question where we can actually just say there's a villain.
Yeah, there's a villain.
Yes, yeah.
It's David, the serial killer.
In all the other ones, it was like deeper, like it's.
But I said
their own antagonist and stuff.
But I said the secondary antagonist is Mackany's mom, who proves neglectful to her daughter and makes Mackany feel lesser than, and she prevents Mackany from learning to forgive herself and move on.
Yes, yeah.
Number 6. Are there any particularly striking visual symbols in the book? What do you think they represent?
The book is very visual.
Yeah, it's very,
because it has to be.
Yeah.
So,
like, and we said some the same, some differently, but knives, blood, cornfield, the Midwest, the jigsaw puzzles, and then I even said text, phone calls, and notes. They were always like in communication with each other, but then in certain things they weren't communication.
Like how so?
Like, you know, she wouldn't talk to her mom, and yet she was always texting her friends, or she would long night conversations with Ollie, like, or she was hiding from them her past. So I think that was definitely a symbol.
Okay.
Always leaving like little notes.
Or motif.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like all in that visual realm.
Yeah.
Definitely a motif.
I even said
was
the
like the
grandfather
media
clock.
Yeah, that he
hid behind.
Yeah. And didn't it break?
Yeah.
Somebody pushed somebody into it, right? Yeah. I said specifically Ollie's car that was once like an undercover cruiser. And we kind of made the point together that it symbolized just like mistaken identities or like hidden identities and there is that one part when they're trying to hurry up to get to the corn maze when they finally figure it out and everybody starts going slow around him because they think it's a cop. The whole first half of the book, all of her friends are like, you gotta stop like talking to him.
He's definitely the
killer. Like they're gonna know. And like even for a brief second, she had her own like doubt when they were in that middle of the corn maze. So that's kind of like the police cruiser itself, right? It was one thing, but it actually is completely just his car.
Yeah, they represent like pretty much, you know, the killings. They foreshadowed the killings.
Yes, the billboard sign outside
where
their house
would all culminate afterwards.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I think too the mundaneness of the Midwest where nothing ever happens.
Yes, yeah, that whole idea of nothing ever happens.
So the next question is, if you were making this book into a movie, who would you cast for the lead role? So we told you guys that we were going to just review the Netflix cast, so I'll try to pop the pictures up on the screen, but we're going to look at them on my phone. For the cast, Sydney Park as Mackany Young. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sarah Dugdale as Katie Coons. Good one. This one, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Theodore Pellerin as Oliver Larson. I don't know about that.
I pictured him still, like, yeah, he had the pink hair or whatever, but I still pictured him, like, very American boy, and that's why I was, like, kind of like,
I don't know about that. I pictured him more like this. Yeah, so I don't know about that guy. I don't like that one very much. Theodore Pellerin. Andrew Dunbar as
the brother?
Yeah, that one's... As Deputy Chris Larson.
Yeah, that I could see. But they don't match.
Like, yeah.
I don't see this guy ever like... Because like the brother was supposed to be very protecting. Mm-hmm. And I don't see this guy protecting.
Yeah. Like, it's not completely filled out yet, so... But most of them are fine. Yeah, there's no David. I didn't like Ollie. The last question is, what is your favorite moment or quote?
You go first.
So it's a quote. Running away from home didn't change the fact that a person still had to live with themselves. Mackany had learned this, though perhaps her mother never had. Change came from within over a long period of time and with a lot of help from people who loved you. Osborne wasn't David's problem. For Mackany, Osborne had been restorative. Being a psychopath was David's problem. David was David's problem. And then I said, I like how Mackany is realizing that she's not a bad person despite her mistakes. She's made efforts to grow even though it had been hard. She realizes she is nothing like David, as she had been alluding to, as the guilt of her past and what had happened on the beach had been resurfacing.
Yeah.
So I feel like she was likening herself to his serial killer.
She was. She was like, I'm just as bad as him. Like,
yeah, but I mean, I don't know if I was the only one, but when I read what happened on the beach,
I was like, it's not that bad.
Seriously? She chopped off, okay. The girl slapped her in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, she chopped off her ponytail.
Yeah,
and the girl, so she should, yeah, that was her fault that she was drunk and stumbled into the water.
Yeah.
But none of that was really, she got assaulted. Like, are we forgetting that she got assaulted?
Yeah. My favorite part, it's definitely hard to choose because this isn't my, like, favorite type of book to read. It was definitely, like, amazing, but it's not one I always, like, naturally am drawn to. So I think my favorite part out of this whole one was when they were being, like, a cute couple together in his room. And that's, like, and I know that sounds so silly, right? Because it isn't a romance, and it has nothing to do with
her when the brother was, or, like, when they had
like
to confront the grandmother after she'd, like, seen him naked.
Yeah, and, like, he was all embarrassed.
Yeah. So as we promised, because it was like a little bit of a shorter review, we thought we'd go into the songs for the playlist. So please check out the playlist. If you haven't already followed us on Spotify, please feel free to do so because we have some really good playlists.
Yeah, I know, not to brag, and we're just being modest, but
there's some pretty good playlists. So yeah. For There's Someone Inside Your House, and we always do like cover art that matches
the book.
Somebody's Watching Me, Psycho Killer, I Think We're Alone Now, Hungry Heart, a new one from Miley Cyrus, which is Midnight Sky, Time of the Season, Don't Bring Me Down, Private Eyes, Tear in My Heart, Pumped Up Kicks, Blood Red, Creep, Dearly Departed, Drive Away, which is Brummies and Casey Musgraves, Another One Bites the Dust, In the Heat of the Moment, Hard Times, Afraid, Cringe, and we finished off the playlist with Edge of 17, a cover from The Wind and the Wave. So I feel like some really clever ones that we thought of were Dearly Departed, and that's just Shaky Graves featuring Esme Patterson.
Yeah, you thought of that one.
Drive Away, that one is actually very fitting too.
Yes, too, because about like leaving.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know about you. Even that Cringe one, that one's...
Yes, yeah.
Actually really good.
Yeah, really get
And obviously the other one, the Somebody's Watching Me, Psycho Killer.
Yeah, those ones are more like a little... Because what always happens with these playlists is I get overly excited, and I'll add like about like 18 songs to the playlist, and then Carmen will have to come in and she'll be like, okay, delete that, Sarah, because like, yeah, that's it's a little too literal, or like it, and then I'll start going off of the like...
It has to have
sound,
a cohesive sound.
Yeah, and then, but... We really picked some good ones from this one. And like Midnight Sky, I added that one.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that you had added that one. Because
I listened to some current music.
Yeah, some good ones.
Hard Times was really good that you added that one.
Yeah, and it has like that funky feel, but it goes really well with
the sound. The sound, I don't know, really.
It's like eclectic actually. This I would...
Yes, yeah. And like a lot of these songs, I don't know why, like I just feel like would be on their playlist too.
So now to introduce you to November's book of the month. It's very different from our last one. What's it called?
The Nest.
I think it's a family drama.
Yes, it is.
And it's very tense, I believe.
And it was very highly rated when it came out.
Yeah, so we're gonna give The Nest by Cynthia Dupree Sweeney
a go. Yeah. I've already started it. I don't think you're gonna like it.
Again? So the Inside Sleep says, every family has its problem, but even among the most troubled, the Plum family stands out as spectacularly dysfunctional. Years of simmering tensions finally reach a breaking point as Melody, Beatrice, and Jack Plum gather to confront their charismatic and reckless older brother, Leo, freshly released from rehab. Months earlier, an inebriated Leo got behind the wheel of a car with a 19-year-old waitress as his passenger. The ensuing accident has endangered the Plum's joint trust fund, the Nest, which they are months away from finally receiving. Meant by their now deceased father to be modest midlife supplement, the Plum siblings have watched the Nest's value soar along with the stock market and have been counting on the money to solve a number of self-inflicted problems.
Well then, now that we've checked off everything on this list for today's video, we covered the book club questions and the playlist and next month's book. The only thing left to do is ask you to become part of the S&C family. Please subscribe if you think you'd enjoy any of our content. We do tackle a lot of different areas in our channel. If you become part of our family, you get to watch that, you get to be a part of that journey with us, learn some helpful tips. We would love to learn from you guys. If you guys comment anything down below about what you would like to see or how we can improve our videos and different, just we're just trying to share with that. Like, life's hard enough. We need some tips to make it easier. Subscribe, be a part of the family, hit that like button, and share with other people who you think these would be helpful for.
So other than that, hope to see you soon.